this is Piles of Books, and today I'm going to be sharing a mostly homeschool library book haul. I use the library for my own self, somewhat, not a whole ton, and then I do get a lot of books for my 8-year-old son through the library, but what we mostly use the library for is getting books for our homeschool. So we school with a more literature, Charlotte Mason approach. We don't really use any textbooks currently, so when my kids say, "Hey mom, I'd like to learn more about frogs," I just get a bunch of books from the library about frogs. If we want to learn about the weather or gardening or whatever it may be, it's like not unusual for there to be like a stack of 30 books waiting for me on hold at the library, and I am really grateful because my current librarians have never said anything to me. I used a different local library several years ago, and they did not love me getting books through interlibrary loans, so I quit going there. But anyway, so I've got obviously quite a huge stack, and so we are going to jump right into it. These aren't really in order. I just kind of stacked them according to size for the thumbnail picture, so that is pretty much what we're going to be going with for the video. So the first one is this The Ocean of Truth, the story of Sir Isaac Newton, and this is by Joyce McPherson. So as I mentioned before, my 8-year-old will be in Ambleside year 4 next year, and this is one of the biographies for that year. So I just want to make sure that this is something that he's going to actually at least somewhat enjoy reading. Alright, the next one I have is Aggie Morton, Mystery Queen, The Dead Man in the Garden. So these books are kind of I don't know what you would say, a spin-off, a parody maybe of the Agatha Christie mystery novels. They are written for kids, and so this is Agatha, supposed to be Agatha, as a young girl, and then Hercule Poirot. So I totally love the idea of that. I have actually not read any of these, but I got the first one for my son, and he really enjoyed it. So I did get the next two, and he hasn't picked them up yet, so I'm not sure if he's going to read them, but I plan to myself. And then the next one is the Aggie Morton, Peril at Owl Park. So again, just the same thing. I don't know if he's going to read these, but I think that they look super cute. So I'm excited about those. Okay, next is another middle grade book. This is A Rover's Story by Jasmine Wargaw, maybe? So this was the middle grade March group read, I think, last year in 2023, and I did not read it then. My kids were just talking about the movie WALL-E, and so we're waiting on that coming in from the library, but I thought, well, I would get this book because I thought that it was like a little bit similar maybe, and I don't actually know because I haven't read it, but so while we wait for the movie, I will probably try to read this, or my son's gonna read it, or somebody's gonna read it. Alright, and then this one was for me. This is All That Makes Life Bright by Josie S. Kilpack. So in my February reading wrap up, I think, I talked about the book Lady of the Lakes. I've got it right here actually, by Josie S. Kilpack. This is the true love story of Sir Walter Scott, and somebody in the comments of that video recommended this one. This is The Life and Love of Harriet Beecher Stowe. So I'm excited to read this. Now this one did come in large print, which kind of bothers me a little bit. I don't really know why, but so I don't know if I'll read this particular copy or if I'll try to grab a different one from the library another time. And then while I got this off the shelf, we have Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. So I got this thinking that it was for younger kids, and I was mistaken. I did start reading it out loud, and my kids were really enjoying this story, but this is not it's not super conducive to read aloud, at least for me. I wasn't enjoying reading it out loud. So I got the audio book. You can borrow it free from Audible if you have an account. And they were not enjoying the audiobook at all. So I'm probably just going to finish this story on my own. They were enjoying it, but it is for older kids, so they just weren't super engaged. Next, we have From Tadpole to Frog. So this is actually kind of a neat book. There's huge illustrations that obviously kids super love. They're very lifelike, a little scary to mom, but you know, that's okay. So we did, get several books on frogs. That is one of them. Okay, we got this Circumference and the Great Knight of England. These books are really, really fun if you're not familiar with them. So basically they take math concepts and then teach the math concepts in story form, which I'm all about. And then of course you throw in like knights and castles and princesses and all of that, and like I'm hooked, my kids are hooked, everybody's hooked. So we do own a couple of these. The other ones like this I just randomly get from the library and I will read them out loud, but I more so kind of like leave them out hoping that my son will read them, and he usually does. He really likes the story. I don't know if he's necessarily like learning that much, but that's okay. The stories are great, and you know, obviously then that information is already there in his mind for when he does need it at some point later on. Next we have Lockheed, The Life of Fibonacci. So this book, why did I get this book? Oh yes. Well, I was just looking for some different math concept picture books, and this was one that I saw online and I thought it was really neat. So we haven't read this yet. I had forgotten we got this, so we definitely need to read that one soon. Okay, Over and Under the Pond. These books are fantastic. Again, if you're not familiar with them, there are quite a few. And Over and Under the Garden. What else is there? I know there's others. We've checked out probably all of them, but the illustrations are beautiful. They are, fairly minimalistic, easy to look at. There's not a ton of text on each page, but there is enough, and these books are incredibly engaging, I feel like. So we have enjoyed all of the ones in this series that we've read, which again is probably all of them. Next is another Circumference book. This is Circumference and the Sword and the Cone. So obviously a word play on the sword and the stone. I actually haven't read this one, I don't think, but I'm assuming it's something with, like different shapes and geometry and that sort of thing. I wouldn't really know. That's not my forte. But again, really fun books. Okay, and then this is The Song of the Water Boatman and Other Pond Poems. This book, let's see, I got this one because we very casually follow the Exploring Nature with Children curriculum. Very casually, very loosely. Anyway, so this is recommended during one of the weeks when you're studying like the spring pond, and we've gotten it out from the library at other times too, because it is just a fun book. So again, the illustrations are just very nice. The poems are really fun, and then there's usually a little bit, so then there's like a little bit of information too on the sides of the pages, just about different things about the pond. So there's this one, Song of the Water Boatman. There's also one about meadows. I want to say something like Butterfly Eyes and something. I'm not sure, but we really like those. Another frog book. This is From Tadpole to Frog. This is the Let's Read and Find Out Science series books. I think these are fun. We own a couple of them. I probably will just always get them from the library, but they are neat little books. They've got a lot of information. This one happens to have probably a little too much information, I feel like, but we just skip over some parts and it's fine. Okay, Nothing Stopped Sophie, the story of unshakable mathematician Sophie Germain. This is just another math picture book. So we actually haven't read this one either. I know I got it out and I was gonna read it the one day, and I kind of looked through it a little bit, and the story looks really cute, so we will do that one. All right, this one is What the World Eats. So this is just another Ambleside book, or I think probably if you're at all familiar with the Charlotte Mason community, you will have seen this book somewhere. And that reminds me, there's another one that's supposed to be coming that is by the same people. But anyway, so this is used for geography, and it's basically just exactly what it says, like different recipes and photographs of, you know, food in daily life in different parts of the world. It's a pretty neat book. So again, it's just another pre-reading option sort of thing for next year. Okay, this is Frindle by Andrew Clements. So this one is recommended by I want to say Chantel from Chantel Reads All Day. I think she's the one who recommends this, has talked about it before, like several times. Anyway, it just looked kind of cute, and so I grabbed it for, again, my son, but he hasn't picked it up. So I may read it, and if it's something that I really want him to read, I will probably, you know, stick it in his, like, required pile. I don't feel bad about requiring books from him because he reads so many books on his own. So I would say probably his reading is split like half and half. You know, these are the books that you have to read that I want you to read, and then these are the books that he just reads on his own. So the next one I have is this Chickens Aren't the Only Ones, Ruth Heller, World of Nature. I don't actually know what I got this for. It doesn't really seem to go with anything that I got, but I'm guessing exploring nature with children. I don't know. Anyway, the pictures, the illustrations are super fun in this book. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to read this when my kids wake up from naps because that is beautiful. So now we just have the 4 large books on the bottom of the stack. This is the Big Book of Birds. Okay, guys, I don't know. If you haven't seen these, you are missing out. These books are so fun, and they are huge. The illustrations are just amazing. And there is, you know, a fair bit of information too, but really we just love looking at these. So this is something that I'm not super good about this, but I'm trying to be more intentional about this. So this is a book that I would just like leave out on the coffee table. Well, we don't have a coffee table, but if I did, this is a book I would leave out on the coffee table with maybe like some bird coloring pictures or a crossword puzzle or something like that, and just kind of, you know, what do they call that? An invitation to learn or something for my kids. Strewing, essentially. Just, you know, food for thought, I guess. So my son does typically read these kinds of things from cover to cover, but myself and my girls just like to look at this kind of thing. And then I'll grab the next one that's similar. This is the Big Book of Bugs. So in the same series, obviously, again, super fun illustrations, some information, just a very cute book. And I love the way this paper feels. Like it's a matte, it's a heavy kind of, I don't know, I really like that. So, let's see, this one has, there's the Big Book of Bugs, Big Book of Beasts, the Big Book of Blue, the Big Book of Blooms, and then obviously the Big Book of Birds. So I know we've gotten the Big Book of Blue, I think, but we haven't done the other one, so I definitely want to do that soon. And the last 2 are from this incredible series, the Welcome to the Museum series. This is Animalium. So again, I mean, just like, oh, look at that. I mean, doesn't it just, oh, it's so inspiring. And it, like, I'm not artistic at all, but like this kind of stuff just like makes me want to paint a picture or something. So I find that for our family, we don't typically, I don't know, we find some information in these books that we don't necessarily agree with. So this isn't something that we just read a lot out of, but, you know, I mean, like if my kids, you know, open it up to flamingos, storks, ibises, and herons, you know, we'll read this and maybe just talk about some of the information that we don't agree with, or, you know, however that may be. The next one I like even more, and this is Botanicum. So again, just like, look at those illustrations. I mean, so beautiful. The oil palm, I mean, I don't know about you, but I love stuff like this. Cattails, sedges, and rushes. Really, I don't know why I don't own these books at this point, but I don't. So we get them from the library, and it's great. Thank you so much for being here. That is all I have for you today. Please let me know in the comments below what you have gotten from the library recently, and if you have any thoughts on these books that I shared here today, I would love to know those as well. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you in the next video.